We are in one of the most exciting opportunities to create content online that builds our personal brands, grows our business, and makes us incredibly wealthy. Right in the palm of our hands, we have this, the humble mobile phone, arguably one of the greatest inventions, if not the greatest invention of the 21st century. And for those who are using it as a tool and not just a way to waste people's time and attention, it's making them very rich. Generationally rich, I would argue. Problem is, with now so many people creating content on the internet, it can feel on the surface like it's incredibly saturated, and it might feel, for those of you that are just starting out with creating videos to market your product and your service, quite overwhelming. And you know what? I totally get that feeling. It's where I was about 15 years ago. I've been making videos since I was about 14. And in that time, I've built 3 different types of businesses. I've done over £2 million in revenue just from building my personal brand with content on the internet. I've worked with over 550 clients, worked with some of the biggest brands in the world like these guys. And now I run a community that helps small business owners to be able to create content that works harder for their business. Arguably, I have done all of this with a camera that is in the palm of my hands and just sits in my pocket. It's kind of insane. And in this video, I'm going to help you to do the same. But I'm going to be honest with you when I say that this can be either a really brutal, quite unforgiving process, or it could be really fun and simple and methodical and enjoyable as well. The dictator of which path you go on, the tough one or the easy one, comes down to understanding, implementing, and learning these 5 brutal truths about creating videos on the internet. Let's dive in. First and foremost, and perhaps one of the most brutal, is that nobody cares about you. Every single day, more than 1 million hours of content is uploaded to the internet. Absolutely insane, I know. Vlogs, behind the scenes tutorials, personal branding content, educational content, insightful content, entertainment value, the lot. There's a lot there. And that means I want to shift your thinking from that you're not competing against other creators. You're competing for the attention of the people that aren't creating content in the first place, the consumers. At first, these passive consumers who are just scrolling through and trying to find something to fill the gap of boredom or to help solve their problem don't know much about you. They don't know you yet. They don't like you. They haven't built trust with you. They haven't got that level of rapport. So what makes you feel that they're going to stop on your content to engage with it? And maybe that's what you're experiencing right now. You're putting a lot of effort and time and energy and love and passion, maybe even money into creating your videos, but they're just not getting the results that you want. People aren't engaging. People aren't sticking around. They aren't following. They aren't joining your newsletter. They aren't buying your products and services. It can feel really demotivating when that happens. You've got to remember, and this is completely normal, that other people have their own lives, right? They are running a household, they're trying to make it clean and tidy whilst also running a business and managing kids and thinking about what they're going to be doing on the weekend and all these arbitrary things, right? You're not the center of their world. They have so many other things to think about. And I'll be fully transparent, right? In the first year that I was creating videos, I maybe made about 50 in total. I was lucky to get more than 10 views, mate, on a video. And that feels so sad and so flat that for a lot of people, it can make them go, fuck it, I'm gonna throw in the towel, it's not working. The only way that I can really put this into words is because you aren't known yet. You haven't built up that professional reputation. You aren't a familiar face. And because of that, people aren't sticking around. People aren't taking the actions that you want them to take. And whilst it might seem like it isn't working, it absolutely is. You just can't see it yet, okay? Think of brands like Amazon, Facebook, and Google, okay? In the first couple of years, these guys didn't even get a sniff, mate, on their products or services. They were businesses that were built in the side garage of their house in a dingy, dark corner of the room where it probably smelled like damp, wet water and wet dog. trying to accentuate the point there. It's only through years of mental discipline and the persistence that they have this self-confidence that what they're doing is the right thing, that they became some of the, if not the biggest brands in the world. It takes a long time to build an audience that are, 1, brand advocates of what you do, and 2, actively purchase your products or services. If you're watching this video, you likely run a business to some degree, right? I could absolutely teach you how to create videos that go viral. I could teach you how to create a video that gets you sales. But if you don't understand the mechanisms and the reasonings behind why you're doing that, chances are when algorithms change or trends transform, you're not going to be able to replicate that. So you need to go through this process of trial and error and feeling that demotivating, demoralizing feeling of that you're putting a lot of effort into content that isn't getting results, because it is. You just haven't done it for long enough that you can see them yet. My second point here is that failure is inevitable. There has been a huge rise recently, and I'm not sure if you've seen them yourself, in the so-called experts and gurus who present a fast-track way to achieving a certain outcome, a personal brand that goes viral in 30 days, or a 6-figure business in 2 weeks. But what I'm noticing is that these types of offers and these types of services are selling like wildfire, mate, okay? Because they limit and condense the time that it takes to go from 0 to 100. For example, let's take guitar lessons, for example. Let's say you want to get good at playing of the guitar. Would you rather spend 10 years learning it, figuring it out for yourself, going through the trials and tribulations and failures of making the common mistakes, or would you rather pay £1,000 for a 4-hour condensed course on guitar mastery? On the flip side, would you rather spend the next year or two trying to build your personal brand and trying to figure out what content to create and why? Or would you rather spend £5,000 for a 30-day fast-track success? Most people, and be honest with yourself, will rather go for the fast, more convenient route. And whilst there might be a bit more of a premium cost to that, the cost of spending that time figuring it out for yourself is often larger than just doing it short term. The problem with these personal branding courses that teach you to go viral in 5 hours, or these guitar lessons that teach you how to condense 10 years of learning into an hour, is they don't teach the methodology. What you'll find going through these and spending a lot of money on these things is that there is no room for trial and error. You're taught a very specific way of doing things. And when that thing changes, in the game of running a business and marketing a business on social media, algorithms and trends always change. You won't know what to do. Sure, you might learn the 5 most trendy personal brand types of content to create for your business right now that go viral on TikTok, but in 3 months' time, because TikTok have changed their algorithm, that type of content doesn't work. And then you're kind of left stuck in the rut going, well, what do? I've just spent £5,000 on a personal branding course that I can't now use. My advice in these situations is to do the hard work. Get stuck into the trenches. Embrace that you're going to fail and that you're going to learn a lot of very powerful long-term life lessons out of these situations. By all means, get yourself an accountability partner or a friend that you can do it with, or join a group of people that can share their mistakes as they're progressing along the same path as you. I'm very much a fan of learning through doing it, but getting feedback from people that have been where you are now, right? That's essentially what I do in my community. Check it out, link will be in the description. The way that you understand whether or not fire is hot is not by sitting there and watching an internet video of flames coming on a stove, it's by putting your hand over it going, oh, that burned, I'm not doing that again. Same thing with content, right? The way that you learn that an idea doesn't work is by doing it and going, oh, that hasn't worked, I'm not doing that again. Sure, somebody can sit there and tell you for £5,000 that you should do this exact video and you're going to go viral, and chances are you're going to have quite a high peak of success, but you will fall just as fast as you've risen, okay? So I say embrace failure. Learn through doing, put stuff into practice and get the data and the real world examples through your experience of what works and what doesn't work. That's how you become an amazing video creator. My third point here is to make the process really simple. I have now consulted, as of Q1 2026, around 220, 230 members of my video community. And I would argue that most of them get stuck because they overcomplicate the process of creating a video. They add systems, they add strategies, they buy new courses, they listen to other people's advice, they go on training, they implement a newsletter, they cross-pollinate across multiple different platforms before they've mastered one. They start to build offers that are really way too complicated for their business. And what ends up happening is the whole thing becomes so overwhelming that you can't keep doing it. Now, I do believe in systems. I'm a huge advocate of building the right process, but it has to be intentional and it has to work for you, okay? What works for me will not work for you, what works for you will not work for somebody else. We have to find our own route. If you're new here, I like breaking things down into different analogies, and my analogy for this one is like going to the gym. I've now been going to the gym for probably 5 or 6 years, right? Every year I see the same routine. New people join in January with this new year, new me mindset, ready to go, full of energy and ready to get going with stuff. They get so fixated on manufacturing a very strict diet and healthy eating plan that it becomes so rigid and boring and dull. They come in with new clothes and brand new shoes and a fancy water bottle that's got all these different gadgets that you don't need on it, a fucking flashlight and a USB-C cable to upload your water bottle data to the cloud. I don't know. And 3 months later, they quit. The gym massively quietens down. All the newbies that got into the gym in January, from about March or April time, they've been cut by about 70, 80%. And the reason for this is because they've built a lifestyle and a routine and a habit that isn't sustainable. It is so counterintuitive and so counterproductive because it's got so much going on with it that it can't be maintained. It's not simple enough. It's exactly the same thing with creating videos on the internet, right? Don't say and don't commit to that you're gonna post a YouTube video every day for the next year. Don't say that you're gonna start a 30-minute vlog every week and you're gonna post it on Sunday at 6 p.m. Don't spend £5,000 on a professional camera until you've learned how to film a great video in terms of structure and foundations on your phone. You have this with you at all times. Before you start amalgamating a list of 50 different video ideas to market your business, just make one video. and then do the next one. And then when you've done that one, think about the next one and just go through that process. It took me probably about 8 years to make videos that were actually commercially viable. I started with gaming, I went into vlogs, I went into financial management videos, like, what am I doing? And it's only through testing these that I started to find the enjoyment for it, and I ended up using it as one of the biggest assets to market my business. Crazy how things work out. If you make the process of creating videos simple, you will make more videos. If you make more videos, you're gonna get seen by more people. If you get seen by more people, you have a greater opportunity to sell your product or your service, and doing that will grow your business. The fourth thing here is that nothing goes smoothly. Creating content, even on a professional level, was always messy. You would plan to film a video outside, it would start raining. You'd write all the scripts on a Google Doc sheet on your laptop, and then your battery would die. You'd get all your fancy microphones set up and you'd forget to turn it on. And between you and I've turned up to shoots before where I've completely forgot my SD cards. I thought, what am I gonna do? The problem is that people try to engineer method to the madness, and they try to make it a formulaic experience where it's fairly rigid and things have to happen in a certain order in a certain way. But creating videos couldn't be more opposite than that. I think when you start to allow yourself that mental shift, it opens things up massively. The way that I would see creating videos is that you are a chef, right? And you need to have all of these great ingredients to make an amazing dish. The ingredients on their own might not be the best things in the world. You might have a pepper and an onion that looks a little bit ropey around the edges, but it's still usable. But through experience, you learn to turn these ingredients into something that is magical and that is powerful. But it's also really easy to misjudge this too. Everybody online is so perfect and so polished, and from a perceptions perspective, they look like there's no fault in their content at all. They've got everything right, and that can make you feel at times like you're doing a lot of things wrong. I can guarantee you, right, that the people and the businesses that you consume who are showing up in the most perfect, successful, pretty polished way have just had the worst week. Their dogs just died, they've just lost their biggest ever client, they're 3 weeks away from sacking 5 of their staff because they can't cover payroll, but they have to present themselves in such a perfect way because they're selling a personal branding course. Never judge a book by its cover. So this is my roundabout way of saying, go and embrace life, go and embrace the madness and the fun and the chaos of creating videos. It is not a linear, not a natural step. Okay, life has a strange way of throwing curveballs, and sometimes the joy comes from embracing those. This morning, between you and I woke up late. I rushed into work because I realized that I had a one-to-one call with one of my members that didn't, for some reason, show up in my diary. That put me an hour back. I turned the camera on. All of my batteries are dead. My lights weren't working this morning. I hadn't charged my mic, so I had to sit for half an hour and just charge my microphone. But in that, you kind of just learn to go with the flow a little bit. And yeah, it could have been better organized and it could have been more perfect, but arguably that's what makes this video great. I've kind of got a loose script, but I'm kind of winging it at the same time, and that's kind of the fun of it. And my fifth and final point here is to think long term. Realistically, for the first 7 years of creating videos, I was just pissing in the wind and seeing what sticks and having fun with it. And I used to film videos with my friends. I used to film videos that I used to work with people on. I had employees that I used to hire and we used to create stuff together. It was just a fun experience, right? There was no real commercial intent behind it. Over the years, I've learned what does and doesn't work. And now video is the go-to way that I market my business and get customers. Chances are the people that you look up to online and feel inspired by and you're motivated by their level of quality of their content, or that they're getting lots more results for the business, is because they've just done it longer than you have. They've failed many times over when you're just on your first or your 10th or your 50th video and you haven't got enough skin in the game yet. And I guess this kind of poses the question that you really need to ask yourself. You need to put a bit of time into some introspective reflection and ask yourself, are you willing to commit to making videos for a long period of time? Because if you're not, I would genuinely give up now, okay? It's not for you. Video is by far the most powerful way to market your business. It is, from my experience, one of the greatest ways to establish such a level of trust and rapport and reciprocity with people, building your personal brand, building that sense of familiarity, generating leads through offers that you create that you can present in your videos. It is the best thing that you will ever do for your business, and maybe even yourself. But it takes time to build that momentum up, okay? Sure, you're gonna see a lot of people on the way that have spikes of virality and success, but I can guarantee you that as fast as they rise, they will fall. Okay, and in a year or two, they won't be around. Often, creating videos and building a business in general is not about being the best. It's about sticking to it for the longest. You will achieve more in learning to build the habit and establishing the routine than you will in getting to the goal. And I know that from experience, and I know you'll do the same. I'm Jack. I've been creating videos for the last 15 years, and the goal with my YouTube channel is to help you create harder working videos for your business. One way that you can do that from here, click this video right there, check it out. It'll help you to create harder working videos. I'll see you in the next video. See you then.